Abandoned Mineshaft. The Abandoned Mineshaft is Minecraft's version of an underground horror movie set. Dark corridors, eerie noises, and the constant feeling that someone is watching you. These vast networks of wooden tunnels are found deep underground and are filled with valuable loot, cave spider spawners, and just enough cobwebs to make you regret not bringing a sword. Mine shafts are known for their maze-like layouts, where players often enter looking for treasure and exit hours later after having fought off hordes of mobs, broken 17 pickaxes, and questioned their life choices. The real danger? The poisonous cave spiders lurk in their web-infested corners, ready to ruin your day with venom and overall bad vibes. Despite the risk, mineshafts are fantastic for early game exploration. They contain rails, chests with loot, and even exposed ores, making them a gold mine, sometimes literally, for resources. Just don't forget to bring torches, unless you enjoy the company of zombies spawning in every shadowy corner. Dungeon. The dungeon is Minecraft's way of saying, here, have some loot, but also, here, have some paint. These small, cobblestone rooms generate underground and always contain a mob spawner, ensuring that the moment you step inside, you're greeted by a never-ending supply of zombies, skeletons, or spiders that would really rather you not take their stuff. The best part of dungeons? The loot chests, of course. They often contain useful items like enchanted books, saddles, and music discs, making them worth the risk. However, fighting off the constant wave of mobs while trying to loot can be a real test of reflexes, especially if you don't disable the spawner fast enough. Dungeons are also a great early game XP farm. Just light up the spawner with torches and start farming mobs for experience and drops. Or if you're the type who likes efficiency, turn the whole thing into an elaborate mob grinder for endless loot. Either way, the dungeon rewards those who dare to face its hostile inhabitants. Igloo. The igloo is one of Minecraft's most deceptive structures. At first glance, it just looks like a cozy little snow hut, a nice spot to take shelter from the cold. But if you dig a little deeper, literally, you might just uncover a secret basement that makes you question everything. Found in snowy biomes, igloos are small, simple structures with a bed, crafting table, and furnace, perfect for survival players needing a quick shelter. However, 50% of them contain a trapdoor hidden under the carpet, leading to a creepy underground chamber featuring a villager, a zombie villager, and a brewing stand with a splash potion of weakness. This is Minecraft's way of giving you a free tutorial on curing zombie villagers, but it also raises many questions. Who built this? Why is there a basement prison under a snow house? And most importantly, why does it feel like the start of a horror movie? Despite the mystery, igloos are great for early game survival, offering free shelter and resources. And if you find one with a basement, congratulations! You now have an ethical dilemma about whether to cure the villager or leave them there to their fate. Natural terrain. Natural terrain in Minecraft is like nature's version of abstract art, sometimes stunning and sometimes a complete mess, and they're always unpredictable. The world generates with rolling hills, towering mountains, winding rivers, and the occasional random floating island that defies all laws of physics. The terrain is where Minecraft's infinite variety really shines. You might spawn in a beautiful valley surrounded by lush forests or in the middle of a jagged, cursed landscape where every step is a parkour challenge. Thanks to Minecraft's ever-evolving terrain generator, mountains now look breathtaking, caves feel more like actual underground systems, and rivers actually make sense, most of the time. Of course, there are always the weird glitches, like that one random chunk error where a waterfall is pouring from the sky, or the time you found a lone desert temple embedded halfway into a snowy mountain. But that's part of the charm. Every Minecraft world has its own unique natural wonders, whether they make sense or not. Ocean Monument. The Ocean Monument is Minecraft's version of, wouldn't it be fun if we made a structure that's hard to find, hard to explore, and filled with terrifying fish that want to kill you? These massive underwater temples are located in deep ocean biomes and are home to guardians and their older, grumpier cousins, the Elder Guardians. The moment you get too close, these spiky fish start blasting you with lasers, making sure you regret ever wanting those shiny sea lanterns. Oh, and if you thought you could just mine your way in, the Elder Guardians hit you with mining fatigue, turning your efficiency enchanted pickaxe into a very slow and useless rock tapper. Inside the monument, you'll find a maze of dark corridors, sponge rooms if you're lucky, and a treasure chamber filled with blocks of gold. But getting there means surviving an underwater death trap where air is scarce. Guardians are everywhere, and your best hope is a combination of water-breathing potions and sheer determination. It's high risk, high reward, but mostly just high risk. Pillager Outpost. If villages are peaceful havens for trading and farming, then pillager outposts are their chaotic, angry cousins who just want to see the world burn. These tall wooden towers generate in plains, savannas, and desert biomes, and they come with one guarantee. If you get too close, you're getting shot. Pillagers are crossbow-wielding maniacs who spawn around the outpost, patrolling the area like it's their own personal fortress. And they don't just attack on sight, they attack with enthusiasm. Even if you manage to fight them off and raid the outpost loot chest, which usually contains crossbows, bottles of enchanting, and occasionally an allay in a cage, the real problem is what comes next. Killing the outpost captain gives you the bad omen effect, which means the moment you step into a village, a raid begins. Congratulations! You just turned a peaceful village into a war zone. Hope you're ready to defend those terrified villagers, because those pillagers aren't stopping anytime soon. Ruined Portal. A ruined portal is exactly what it sounds like. Someone tried to build a nether portal, got distracted, and left it half finished for you to stumble across. These broken nether gateways can be found in the overworld and even in the nether itself, usually surrounded by netherrack, magma blocks, and a suspiciously convenient loot chest. The loot varies, but you can usually expect gold gear with weird enchantments, some obsidian, and a handful of gold nuggets because why not? If you're lucky, you might even find enough obsidian to complete the portal without mining for more, making it an early shortcut to the nether. However, some ruined portals are absolute disasters, lava pouring everywhere, missing way too many obsidian blocks, or spawning in locations that make zero sense, like why is there a nether portal in the middle of an ocean, but hey, free loot is free loot. Shipwreck. Shipwrecks are the sad remains of Minecraft boats that clearly weren't built with seaworthiness in mind. These broken wooden structures generate in oceans and beaches, often half buried in sand or fully submerged underwater, making them a treasure hunter's dream. The best part? Loot chests! Shipwrecks can contain maps leading to a buried treasure, enchanted armor, emeralds, and enough wheat to make you question what kind of cargo these sailors were transporting. Some shipwrecks even have multiple chests, rewarding players with rare loot, assuming you don't drown trying to get to them. However, some shipwrecks are so destroyed that they barely resemble boats, and looting them feels more like scavenging wood than treasure hunting. Still, they're a great early game find, offering free resources and the chance to live out your pirate fantasies, if you don't mind dodging drowned while doing it. Stronghold. The Stronghold is Minecraft's version of a secret underground lair, except instead of being filled with treasure and adventure, it's mostly empty hallways, endless dead ends, and the occasional library that makes you wonder if someone once lived here. Hidden deep underground, these sprawling stone structures are the gateway to the end. Literally. The main goal is to find the end portal. Sounds simple, right? Wrong! The Stronghold is a labyrinth designed to test your patience. You're going to get lost at least twice, break a few pickaxes mining through walls in frustration, and you'll probably run into a silverfish spawner at the worst possible moment. But once you finally reach the end portal room, it's time for the real challenge: activating it. If you didn't bring enough Eyes of Ender, congratulations! You now have to leave, hunt Endermen, and come back later. Strongholds are the final test before facing the Ender Dragon, making them one of the most important and most annoying structures in the game. Temples. Temples in Minecraft come in different flavors: desert temples and jungle temples, both designed to reward the brave or just the very lucky. Desert temples are massive sandstone pyramids that seem harmless at first, but anyone who blindly jumps into the treasure room is in for a surprise. Underneath the loot lies a pressure plate connected to a TNT trap ready to turn your diamond armor into dust. But if you avoid instant death, you'll be rewarded with valuable loot like enchanted books, emeralds, and sometimes just a bunch of rotten flesh. Jungle temples, on the other hand, are hidden deep in dense jungles and contain an elaborate puzzle of tripwires, arrows, and levers that most players just ignore by mining through the walls. The loot? It's usually underwhelming, but the temple itself is cool, assuming you don't get ambushed by a creeper in the overgrown ruins. Underwater ruins. Underwater ruins are what happen when Minecraft scatters bits of lost civilization across the ocean floor. Found in warm and cold oceans, these ruined structures range from small, single buildings to massive, sprawling villages that look like Atlantis had a rough day. The main attraction here is the buried treasure maps hidden in chests, which can lead you to even better loot on land. However, looting these ruins comes with one major problem: the drowned. These zombie-like mobs lurk around the ruins armed with tridents and bad attitudes, waiting for players to swim too close. Most of the time, exploring underwater ruins is a fun, eerie experience, but sometimes all you'll find are a few suspicious sand blocks and a chest filled with coal. Exciting. Village. Villages are the beating heart of Minecraft's overworld, a place where players can trade, steal beds, and accidentally start an international incident by hitting a villager. These settlements are home to various villagers, each with their own job, from farmers to librarians to the occasional unemployed guy who just wanders around aimlessly. Villages are a jackpot for early game survival, offering free food, loot, and sometimes even a blacksmith with iron gear. But with great rewards comes great dangers, like the iron golem. Hit a villager and this massive protector will introduce you to the concept of flying. Once you've established dominance, or at least not angered the entire town, villages become valuable trading hubs. With enough patience, you can get everything from enchanted books to diamond armor, all without having to mine a single block. Just be ready to defend them when a pillager raid starts. Woodland Mansion. The Woodland Mansion is Minecraft's version of a haunted house, except instead of ghosts, it's filled with angry axe-wielding maniacs. These massive structures generate deep and dark forest biomes far away from civilization, making them one of the rarest structures in the game. Inside, you'll find a maze of dimly lit rooms, some with hidden treasure, some completely pointless, and others that just make you question the mansion's previous owner, like the giant wool statues of evokers. Like, why? The biggest threat, however, is the Pillagers, evokers, vindicators, and the occasional Johnny, a vindicator with a personal vendetta against everything. If you manage to survive the onslaught, the rewards include enchanted books, diamond gear, and totems of undying, which let you cheat death. But getting to those rewards means battling through one of Minecraft's toughest enemy-filled locations, so maybe bring a shield. Or 10. End City. The End City is Minecraft's version of a luxury high-rise, except instead of elevators, you get floating purple aliens that want to send you to the moon. These towering structures generate in the end after you defeat the Ender Dragon, but finding one is a journey in itself. You'll need to cross endless islands, avoid falling into the void, and pray you don't run out of Ender Pearls. Once you finally reach an End City, you'll notice two things. It's made of purple blocks, and it's filled with shulkers. These hostile mobs shoot homing projectiles that make you levitate, which is fun for about 5 seconds until you realize there's no safe landing. If you survive their relentless attacks or use them to float strategically, you'll find some of the best loot in the game, including chests with enchanted diamond and netherite gear. But the real prize? That's sitting on top of an end ship. The End Ship. The End Ship is Minecraft's version of a first-class reward for players who've survived the nightmare of finding an End City. These floating structures spawn next to some End Cities and contain two very important things: an elytra and a brewing stand with healing potions. Getting aboard, however, is another challenge. The ship hovers over the void, making bridging over a nerve-wracking experience. One misstep and you'll fall straight into the endless abyss, losing all your hard-earned loot. If you do manage to make it, you'll have to deal with yet another shulker guarding the elytra. But once you defeat it, the elytra is yours, the ultimate tool for flying across the overworld like a true Minecraft pro. And let's not forget the dragon head mounted on the front of the ship, just sitting there like a trophy waiting to be taken. If you grab it without falling off, congrats! You now have proof that you conquered the End Ship, and a really cool decoration. Obsidian Spawn. The Obsidian Spawn isn't an official structure in Minecraft, but it's something every player fears encountering: the dreaded Nether portal trap. Imagine this. You step into a portal expecting to continue your adventure, and suddenly, you're encased in solid obsidian on the other side. No tools, no way out, just darkness and regret. This happens when someone or something decides to cover a nether portal in obsidian, trapping unsuspecting players inside with no escape unless they have a pickaxe or a way to break the portal. It's a common troll in multiplayer servers, a nightmare in hardcore mode, and an unintentional self-trap for players who didn't think their spawn location through. The only real solution? Always carry a flint and steel and maybe don't trust random portals. Otherwise, enjoy your new life inside an unbreakable prison of your own making. Bastion Remnant. The Bastion Remnant is the Nether's version of a ruined castle where instead of noble knights and royal feasts, you get angry pig creatures and a whole lot of lava. These massive structures are home to the piglins who will tolerate your presence until you open a chest. Then they decide you're the villain and attempt to turn you into bacon. Inside you'll find different types of bastions, the bridge, the hoglin stables, the housing units, and the treasure room. The treasure room is where things get serious. It has the best loot, including gold blocks, ancient debris, and sometimes even a pig step music disc. But guarding it is a horde of piglin brutes who don't care if you're wearing gold armor. They'll attack you on sight with their axes of destruction. Surviving a Bastion Remnant is a challenge, but if you manage to loot it without getting piglin smacked into a lava pool, you'll walk away with some of the best treasures in the Nether. Just don't forget to bring a gold helmet, or a respawn anchor. Huge fungi. Huge fungi are the Nether's version of trees, except they look like they belong in an alien horror movie. Found in the warped and crimson forest, these oversized mushrooms are made of strange wood-like stems, weird-looking warts, and enough spores to make you question if you should be breathing in this biome. Crimson fungi grow into red twisted trees that make the forest feel like a piglin-infested nightmare, while warped fungi look like they were plucked straight from another dimension. These fungi are incredibly useful. They provide renewable wood in the Nether, serve as decoration, and can be even used to distract hoglins, who apparently hate the warped kind. Growing one is simple. Just plant a small fungus on nylium, use some bone meal, and boom! Instant weird tree. If you ever get lost in the Nether, these fungi might be your best friend, or at least your best source of emergency building blocks. Nether Fortress. The Nether Fortress is one of Minecraft's most iconic structures, mainly because it holds the key to beating the game: blaze rods. These gigantic, bridge-like fortresses spawn in the Nether, filled with dangerous mobs, long hallways, and a lot of questionable lava placement. Inside, you'll find wither skeletons waiting to ruin your day, blazes hovering around like they own the place, and the occasional chest filled with loot that may or may not be worth the trip. The blaze spawners are the real prize here. Defeat enough blazes, collect their rods, and you're one step closer to reaching the end. But getting through a Nether fortress is no easy task. Between the constant fireballs, the risk of falling into lava, and the terrifying moment when a wither skeleton suddenly appears behind you, it's an adventure of pure chaos. Bring potions of fire resistance, and I do mean that seriously. Nether fossil. Nether fossils are the eerie remains of ancient creatures that once roamed the Nether, probably before they realized living in a burning wasteland was a bad idea. Found exclusively in soul sand valleys, these structures are made of bone blocks, which is great news for anyone needing a quick supply of bone meal. The fossils themselves are massive, scattered remains buried in the valley's soul sand, giving the entire biome an extra creepy, abandoned feel. Were they the skeletons of giant nether creatures? Did the wither have something to do with their extinction? The game never explains, leaving players to come up with their own theories. While they don't hold any loot, nether fossils are a great find for players looking to decorate their base with something other than the usual nether bricks and lava. Plus, free bones. What's not to love? Stalagmites or stalactites? Dripstone. Stalagmites and stalactites, also known as dripstone, are Minecraft's answer to what if the floor and ceiling both wanted to kill you? Found in dripstone caves, these pointy formations make caving an even more dangerous experience. Stalactites hang from the ceiling, just waiting for an unsuspecting player to walk underneath them before breaking off and falling straight onto their head. Stalagmites, on the other hand, sit on the ground like deadly spikes, making sure that if you fall, you won't have a soft landing. Fun! But dripstone isn't just a hazard, it's also useful. Stalactites can drip water into cauldrons, making them a renewable water source in the Nether. And if you set up a lava dripstone farm, you can have an infinite fuel supply. So yes, they might want to kill you, but at least they're practical. The moral of the story is this. Number 1, always look up in caves. Number 2, never break blocks recklessly. And number 3, maybe don't stand directly under suspiciously sharp-looking rocks. Thank you for watching this video. Please let us know which generated constructs you like the most, and have a good day.